She was a nurse, a mother, a woman picking up gauze for a neighbor. But in America, that was all it took. In broad daylight, outside a Georgia convenience store, 2 officers gunned her down. No warning, no mercy. Her son watched. Her blood stained the concrete. They said she looked dangerous. They said it was a mistake. But they didn't know who her husband was. Caleb Bishop wasn't just a mechanic. He was a ghost, a former SEAL with a buried past and a silent team behind him. And now, he's coming. Not for revenge, for justice and fire. The sun hadn't even set yet, but the streets of Hollow Creek, Georgia, were already bleeding. The gunshots echoed like firecrackers, except no one was celebrating. Groceries spilled across the sidewalk, a bag split open, a bottle of baby formula rolled toward a storm drain, and in the middle of it all, she collapsed. Serena Wells, a nurse, a mother, a wife. Her white blouse turned crimson. Her knees gave way, slow and eerie, like the life was draining from the day itself. She slid down the brick wall of the corner store, leaving a streak of red behind her. One hand trembled, reaching for something. Maybe the air, maybe her boy. "Drop it!" shouted one of the 2 officers standing just 10 feet away, their guns still pointed at her. She had already dropped everything. Her bag, her balance, her breath. The pharmacy bag for her elderly neighbor lay torn by the curb. Gauze, inhalers, nothing more. The taller cop's lip curled. "Thought it was a weapon," he muttered. The other one said nothing, shifting uncomfortably. Behind them, the corner store security camera blinked red, a silent witness. Across the street, a little boy screamed, "Mama!" 6-year-old Noah Wells tore away from the crowd, running toward the scene, Spider-Man hoodie flapping behind him like a cape. Someone caught him, barely. He fought, kicked, screamed, "Let me go! That's my mama!" The cops never turned around. 3 blocks away, under a flickering streetlight, Damien Wells heard the sirens. He saw the crowd, and in his chest, something cold and ancient cracked open. A pulse from another life. A life he had buried under grease-stained coveralls and a mechanic's job. But ghosts never die. He ran, past storefronts, past stunned faces, and when he reached Sinclair's Market, time stopped. His wife was there, bleeding, unmoving, his son screaming, and 2 officers standing over her body like they'd just bagged a suspect, instead of a woman who spent her weekends handing out free diapers and glucose strips to struggling families. He didn't scream, didn't collapse, didn't ask why. He just looked. One glance was all it took to tell him everything. His shoulders squared, his breath evened. Then came the vibration. Back pocket, a burner phone, old, scuffed, government issued. One message blinked across the screen. "Echo team, 3 minutes out. Confirm?" He didn't reply. Didn't need to. He crossed the street with slow, heavy steps. A man built like he fixed engines and buried men. His hands were calloused, but they shook now. Not with fear, with purpose. Serena's eyelids fluttered. Her lips parted. No sound. He dropped to his knees beside her, one hand cupping her cheek. "Stay with me, baby," he whispered. "Don't you go now. Don't you dare." A shudder left her chest. Then, stillness. He closed his eyes. When he opened them, the world was gone. Only the mission remained. The taller cop, badge red Bradley Knox, cleared his throat. "She shouldn't have moved." "She was shot in the chest," Damien said flatly. "You gave no warning, no pause." The cop shrugged. "You threatening me, sir?" Damien stood. "I don't threaten," he said. "I bury system." Then came the low hum of a vehicle. Unmarked SUV. Black. Windows tinted darker than sin. It pulled up to the curb and stopped. Another followed. Doors opened. 3 figures stepped out, quiet as shadows. One looked like a tank in human skin. The second moved like a knife. The third, a woman with cropped hair and eyes like gunmetal, held a glowing tablet and didn't say a word. Knox finally looked uneasy. "What the hell is this?" he muttered. Damien didn't blink. "My team," he said. "You brought a damn militia?" the second officer snapped. "No," Damien said, stepping forward. "I brought the truth." And just like that, every phone in the crowd was up, filming, recording, documenting. Because in Hollow Creek, justice had just found a voice with military training. The sun had set, but the fire had just begun. In a repurposed warehouse on the edge of Hollow Creek, Damien Wells stood beneath a cracked skylight, lit only by the blue glow of mission screens. His son Noah was asleep on a cot in the corner, a stuffed bear in his arms and tear tracks still drying on his cheeks. But Damien couldn't rest. Not now. Not while Serena's blood still stained the sidewalk. Not while the badge that killed her still walked free. Across the table, his team assembled. Lena Echo Vasquez, Tech Ops and Intel. Marcus Tank Drayton, ex-SEAL, all muscle and heart. Darius Patch Kimball, medic and surveillance ghost. They weren't just soldiers. They were family forged in war zones and built for moments like this. Echo tapped her screen. The footage from the store's camera is clean, crystal. Serena wasn't holding anything but gauze. No sudden movement, no threat. They shot her point blank. Tank grunted. "That's murder." "No," Damien corrected. "That's policy." Patch chimed in. "Got an intercept. Internal memo from Hollow Creek PD to State Watch Command. Incident under review. Probable cause cited. Suspect reached for object." "Suspect?" Damien's jaw clenched. "She was a nurse. She saved lives." Echo turned. "It gets worse. She'd filed a request for information 2 weeks ago. Civil rights inquiry. She was investigating something called Project Sentinel." Damien's blood ran cold. That name was familiar. Echo continued. "Surveillance profiling. AI-based predictive policing. It flags potential threats based on race, income, zip code. And guess what? Serena's name was on the watch list." Tank growled. "So they pre-labeled her. Program did the dirty work. Cops pulled the trigger." Echo nodded. "And it's not just local. Project Sentinel's funded through a federal pilot. Guess who signed off? Senator Ashton Granger." Damien stood still. Then he turned to the whiteboard, where Serena's photo was pinned. "She knew," he muttered. "She was going to expose them." Patch added, "She wasn't working alone. Another name came up. Detective Latoya Mays, Internal Affairs. She's been quietly documenting abuses tied to Sentinel, but she vanished 3 days ago." "She's alive," Damien said firmly. "Or she was when Serena was killed." Echo's screen buzzed. Ping from a secure burner. "Someone's reaching out. Claims to be Detective Mays. She says she has hard proof, but she's on the run. Wants a face-to-face. Tonight, 30 minutes. Location ping, old library off Juniper Street." Tank cursed. "It's a trap. Or it's the only shot we've got," Damien replied. "We're going." They moved fast, in silence, in shadows. The old library was boarded up, forgotten by the city. But Damien and Tank entered through a side access shaft, while Echo and Patch monitored from the van. Inside, under a broken chandelier, stood Detective Mays, nervous, holding a flash drive like it was her last lifeline. "I don't have much time," she whispered. "I saw the footage. I know Serena was set up. And I have the Sentinel directive, the actual algorithm protocols. They're classifying people as pre-hostile, based on facial tension and tone of voice." "They turned racism into software," Tank spat. Mays nodded. "And they're expanding. Dallas, Baltimore, Detroit, next. You have to stop them." Suddenly, headlights. 4 unmarked SUVs screeched to a halt outside. Echo's voice blasted in Damien's earpiece. "Feds, armed, coming in fast." "Move!" Damien barked. The library windows shattered as flashbangs tore through the room. Mays dropped to the floor, clutching the flash drive. Tank grabbed her, dragging her out as Damien covered them, exchanging fire with shadowy figures dressed in black. No badges, no IDs. They didn't want an arrest. They wanted silence. Outside, Echo disabled their signal jammers. Patch released the drone live feed to every major news outlet in the region. The world saw everything. The ambush, the gunfire, Damien shielding a whistleblower, a team trained for war standing up for the truth, and the lie that killed Serena, unraveling in real time. When it was over, when the smoke cleared, Damien stood in the middle of Juniper Street with Noah in his arms and the flash drive clutched in his hand like a weapon. "They tried to erase her," he said, voice like stone. "Now we show them what a ghost can do." They killed his wife in broad daylight and thought they'd get away with it. But they forgot one thing. He's not just a man. He's a SEAL with nothing left to lose. Like, share, comment. Let the whole world hear Serena's name.